What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. An exciting episode. I think everyone is still rolling high from the Kentucky basketball showing that we had this past Friday against Purdue. That's obviously what we're going to start things off here, kick things off with. So, hey, guys, let's get right into it because I feel like tonight's going to be just a lot of Kentucky stuff at the early get-go. You know, that's what we that's kind of what where our foundation is. But yeah, you're going to hear a lot of it. So as I mentioned already, Kentucky hosted its first exhibition game against the number one team ranked in the preseason polls. Some say already could be a little, I guess, overrated, maybe in a sense, and Kentucky might be underrated, but we'll get into that a little bit. But final score was 78-65. As mentioned, Purdue entered the ranked number one and Kentucky number 9. Kentucky shot 51.6% from the field overall from three-point land, with 9 for 29 at 31%. A little work there probably. As far as rebounding goes, Kentucky absolutely dominated the boards, 42-30. 10 Wildcats scored in the game. Jasper Johnson leading the Wildcats, a true freshman with 15 points. He was 3 for 7 from three-land. Trent Noah, Otega Owe each scored 10 points. Otega Owe, I think, was on a minutes restriction with his, I think it was a turf toe. Is that what he had? So he was still recovering from that. Muhammad Dabate, transfer from Alabama, had a big game, posted 8 points, 9 rebounds, and kind of just anchored everything with all the physical presence that was in that game. I feel like we're so excited. So let's, I don't know, I want to start things off with Mason. Mason, are we jumping the gun here? Should we go ahead and hang banner number 9? Well, what's your immediate thoughts here? And obviously we'll get to Colton. Colton actually was at this game, so he'll be able to,
Media
at times,
passes.
yeah, that is true. So he'll for sure be able to give us the insight because I know his eyes were glued to it the entire time being there in person. But Mason, initial thoughts? Go for it.
Yeah, so I just want to say, last show I started off by saying I wasn't going to put a whole lot of thought into this, right? It was an exhibition. I lied. All right. I lied
told
about
you.
that.
I told you.
Pretty excited now. I mean, I think we all are. We talked about after the game, we kind of text back and forth throughout it and things, but couple, biggest thing that stood out was athletically. We didn't fall off athletically at really any position, right?
Preach,
And
brother.
I think that was the biggest takeaway. Our defense looks so much better. We may not have, the shot makers around the perimeter like we did last year, even though some guys shot it really well. And we have some playmakers, I think, that are going to step up that we maybe thought, we didn't really know what to expect from. But I think the biggest thing to me, like I said, is just the athleticism that stands out across the board.
I want Colton to feed off that and then go right back to you because I want to hear it from the perspective from Colton being in person because, me and Mason, we were watching it as all the viewers probably, not all of you all, but most people watching it. Is it the same way that it looks on TV, Colton, in person? Like, is it just right in front of you, you can see how athletic we are compared to mano a mano, the other competition. And this wasn't just easy. I mean, this was the number one team ranked in the preseason polls. So, talk a little bit about that. Is it about the same in person?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it stood out big against Purdue. And I'll say this, I don't know that we would beat Purdue like that every time. I could think we would definitely beat them the majority of the times out of 10 for sure. I don't know that we'd beat them like we did. They didn't shoot the ball great, but their guards are like the high IQ. They're not known for their athleticism, right? Like the Hoyer and Braid Smith, they're good,
They're the
solid,
Masons.
right? Like they're the good, solid
That's right.
point guards and shooters, and they're not known for being very athletic. And really, Purdue just doesn't have a lot of that. But we just looked like that, no doubt about it. I was very impressed by our defense. They, just when you think they kind of had an extra step, it just seemed like we had a recovery that just didn't, let them by. We were long, like he played fast. Yeah, I mean, you could just tell. I was just very impressed by multiple guys that I was afraid that wasn't going to have some of the athleticism, not necessarily athleticism, but even like, how some people just don't really look coordinated. Look, we call him AJ. I was very impressed by him. You
Yeah,
look
he
at the
moved his feet
numbers.
well.
You
Played
look
good
at
defense.
you look at the numbers, and it's not like the numbers were outstanding or anything. But being there in person, I kept saying, like, dude, this guy's impressing me more. I text a few people. I was like, I'm very impressed by this because he looked like, how Big Z kind of looked very uncoordinated at times. Like this guy did not. Like he looked like he had been playing professional basketball the way that he was guarding and the way that he was moving. You were like, this is very smooth for a 6'10", 6'11", type guy. And it really does look like that. I mean, Aaron athleticism definitely stood out.
So I'm gonna, I guess, and we're going to go back and forth here. I'm gonna go and then I'm gonna give it to you again, Mason. I think for me, I'm just going to talk a little bit about like kind of maybe what was something shocking to me. The first thing that was the biggest shock to me, like right from the gates, is seeing the Trent Noble start. I think Colton, me and you talked about that as well. Didn't see that coming. But it shocked me. But after thinking about it, I was like, okay, maybe Pope's wanting to give him maybe a little confidence, maybe give these other guys a chance to come in. And then also, I think the next thing that shocks me was Malachi Marino. I was very impressed with him. Mason, I know that you said, I think I called you after the game, and you was like, yeah, I was high on him. I think the biggest thing for me though was it's just so hard being in the state of Kentucky with being a big man, not seeing that competition. So translating that into the college game, like, can this guy really play at Kentucky and have an impact? Now, I don't know if that is going to transition into SEC play, where there's a little bit more physicality involved in all aspects of playing in that role. However, though, I do know this: if he plays the way that I thought he played, I thought he rebounded well. He made a couple of good moves. His defensive presence was there. He made people, alter their shot. Like, it's going to be hard to keep him on the bench. So that's going to be something that him and Brandon Garrison are going to have to battle against. And that's not even involving Jaden Quainus, who's out of the picture right now. So that was kind of some of the biggest surprise factors for me that were really good to walk away from. Mason, what was maybe something that, that shocked you a little bit or was surprising? Like, didn't expect that, but hey, that's good for us.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things for me, and we kind of knew coming in that he could get a bucket, but I didn't really know how. I'll say this. I think it'll be interesting to see him against a more physical team, and Jasper Johnson, right? I know he kind of came out there, he has some shiftiness, kind of reminds us a little bit of like Rob Dillingham, kind of put it on the floor, make a move, go get a bucket. It's always nice to have somebody like that, but I really want to see him go up against, more physical teams in the SEC and see how he takes some of that contact and these quicker, stronger guys. Like I said, I think he can be that guy for us. I will say that. I think, he can be that guy who can go get us a three whenever we need it, create his own shot. It's coming down late in the shot clock. He's shown that, he can create his own shot and go get a bucket for us, but I need to see a little bit more. And we got some good games coming up here early in the season. So I think we'll get a tell pretty quickly on how he does against some more physical, athletic competition. Colton, you mentioned Purdue's kind of always struggled against athletic teams, right? Because it's the Big Ten. It's kind of that grind it out, bang it out down low, fundamental basketball. And they've always struggled against more athletic teams, and that's what's hurt them a lot of times in the tournament. So I think it'll be interesting to see how we match up with some of these other athletic teams going forward.
So I got a chance when I got on X, and I seen a lot of people, and it was either a tweet or a video, and they said what it basically was saying, like, as impressed as Kentucky fans are, and maybe people who are not Kentucky fans, let's keep in mind we do have a $22 million roster. So is it what it should be? Like, or do you think, like, is it more than what you was expecting? Like, should we pump the brakes a little bit? But like, listen, guys, we got a 22 million roster. This is what Pope went and done. Like, this is what we were supposed to expect. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we kept saying last year how big depth was an issue, right? Like, I mean, that was one of the biggest things we struggled with last year. So I think Pope knew that was something you had to address, right? And so he went in and got. You want to talk about one of the biggest things that shocked me was how many guys that we have that play that 2 to 3 position, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good
like
point.
the Chandler and Owe and Jasper Johnson and
Noah,
Cam
even.
Williams and Aberdeen and Noah. And I mean, you got 5, 6, guys that play that. And really, Diabate's really kind of plays a 3-4. Like he's not even that much of a 4. He's more of like a 3-4. Like, I mean, but you got so many of those guys. And yes, that's a good and a bad thing, right? At the same time, you can only play so many of them. But at the same time, like, someone's going to have a bad game. So the odds that you can get one of those guys to have a pretty good game is highly likely, right? One of those guys is surely going to play well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives me a lot of confidence in that. But yeah, you spent a lot of money, right? You gave a lot of money to all of these guys. And I mean, you got a legit, and we didn't even see like Braden Hawthorne really, right? We're talking about what was the top, what was he ranked, like 56th in the country or something like that, freshman coming out. I mean, you have and what, like you said, Dylan Quaintance and Lowe didn't even play, who we thought going into the season probably would be two of our top 3. We probably would have said those 2 and Owe if you had to put like your top 3 maybe players on the team. They didn't even play. So, I mean, we've got 12 guys, I feel like, that can play and would play for anyone in the country, really. But that's what you do with $22 million.
Yeah.
You get 12 guys that can play for any basketball team in the country. So,
And I like that you went ahead and brought up that point. You're talking about the 12 guys that could play for any team. Like, that's something, though, that Mark Pope is going to have to figure out. He's going to have to manage that and keep guys happy. Now, obviously, when you're winning ball games, it makes tensions not as high. But I mean, at the same time, you are at a prestigious program, Kentucky, the greatest tradition in college basketball, they say, obviously we think so. You want to be on the court. You want to be playing and wearing that Kentucky across your jersey and on Rupp Arena playing those minutes. There's going to be times, and I even when like I said, I even called into KSR and was wanting to talk about that, and that's the question I posed for Matt Jones was, like, how are we going to manage this? And I liked his point, and I agree with it. Sometimes there's just going to be guys who are not going to play. I mean, after you go down our list, I mean, let's just talk about right here. I mean, you got whenever we're let's just say fully healthy. I mean, you got Lowe, Olway, Aberdeen. I think those are your 3 studs, like from 1, 2, 3 that like are going to be there. Johnson is going to be out there, and then you're talking about your bigs. I mean, you got Diabate, who you can't really. I mean, he's going to be on the floor.
he's
Okay,
going to be your 4
and
mainly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you got between there, you got some Garrett. Like, I mean, there's going to be sometimes, and it's here's what's going to happen. At least what I think will happen. Then you all feed off me. Is there's going to be games where you have a Colin Chandler, a Trent Noah, a Cam Williams who come in and they're playing good, and Mark Pope is just not going to be able to take them out much of that game because the flow of the game, they've got a rhythm. They're scoring well. That's just their game to be in. And there's going to be games where those guys who played well, they're just going to have an off night. And the great thing about this roster is that's okay. Whereas last year and years past, we couldn't rely on our bench play to come in and fill those roles. And like we're like, oh man, it's going to be a long night because so and so is not playing well. Who are we
Or
going to have
injuries.
or injuries? Yeah, even that. Or who are we going to have step up and play? And that's not going to be the case this year, I don't think. So I think that's a very, very challenging for Mark Pope. But hey, he done this. I mean, he knew what he was getting himself into, and with building this 22 million roster. But it's a challenging that I think is going to be all throughout the whole season, and keeping this squad and this team happy, playing together. And is it kind of going to be similar, like you think the platoon system? Are we going to see maybe something like that, or is it just probably not going to be to that extreme where it's them 5 and them 5? Is it going to be more of a mix up? What do y'all think?
Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, so I'll say this. Moreno, I was very impressed with Moreno just because of his physicality. Although, if you really watch him, he's not one that needs to have the ball outside of the paint. He doesn't have a ton of like great offensive skill. yet. He has some physicality that I didn't think was there yet, but it's there. But he moves a little bit. So he's the type of guy that I can see he probably needs to average like 5 to 7 minutes, and he'll have games he plays 13 or 14, but he also have games he won't play. Cam Williams, same way. I think he can shoot the ball. He didn't bring a whole lot to the team, but he's going to have a couple games where he hits a couple threes in a row. You stay out there, right? I think Chandler's going to have to be. I think him and maybe Aberdeen are your backup point guards. Because I will say, if there's anything that I really noticed, is that we were more athletic than them. Had we not been, we didn't run like a whole lot of like sets. There was a few plays, but there was also several times in the game that we just kind of was like, we passed it around the key and then we kind of just made an athletic move. And you really needed a floor general out there, and I'm not sure who, if we don't have Low out there, who else that would be. So to me, that's, I just don't see the platoon in the sense of, I think we can have guys sub in. Like I said, you just have more room that if a guy's not having a bad game, you have a place to go to, right? You don't just have to keep him out there. I just don't think you're going to be able to do that, because at the end of the day, we still don't have that platoon system we had. We brought in 5 NBA guys. We're not bringing it, like, as much as I love this roster, I'm not positive that we still have a first round pick on it. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but that is kind of a, right? You have 12 guys that can play for any team in the country, but I don't know that any of those 12 guys are first round picks. Maybe Quaintance, like they said. Oh, wait, if he improves the shot.
He's just going off potential though right now.
Right, exactly.
We
so you don't
really
know.
got a chance.
So I mean, and that could come in. Like, that's going to be a little bit. You see somebody. I mean, we can get into. We don't have to talk about it much, but I know you see like one of the Boozer twins over at Duke dropped 24 and 23 or whatever he dropped. And some of these high elite guys. Not saying that you have to have those type of guys, but it doesn't hurt.
Mason, thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's going to be the platoon system because, like Colton said, that team was just so talented. We had so many NBA guys.
Yeah.
And I also think Pope is too much of like an analytical person, right? That he's going to want to see other guys, different guys together. He's not just going to play 5 and 5 and different things. But I'm honestly not too worried about like managing expectations with playing time, because the thing that I think about is, we've kind of heard some stories on, let's say potential recruits or transfers that we missed out on. Let's take a Caden Lewis, for example, right? I mean, he transferred to Villanova, and then all the kind of talk come out was that, Mark Pope wouldn't guarantee him, to start or a certain amount of playing time or whatever that may be. So I really think that that's the way Pope approaches, these transfers. Like, look, hey, I want you on my team, but you're going to have to come in and compete and play well if you want to be on the floor. We're here to win basketball games. Here's the culture and how Kentucky is. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be an issue. And I really don't think it's going to be, because he's talked a little bit about the makeup of this team and how competitive they are. And they always, all of them just want to win. So I'm hoping deep down all these guys, they can understand that if it's not my night, it's not my night. Let's go out there and just get the win.
Yeah. Colton, so you wasn't with us last week. Mason was a little upset about that because he did want to confront you and talk to you a little bit about a topic. So let's dive into that. Mason, I'm gonna hand it over to you. The floor is yours.
Go ahead and bring up.
What did I miss here?
So what were we talking about the other day? I can't think of it right now. I texted you about it and I called you about it, but what was it? It was about Cal and Pope, right? Oh, I remember.
Me?
It was about yeah. No, Dylan. I was talking to Dylan about it.
Oh, I was gonna say
no. And I told him to bring it up. So you were talking about I guess whenever it came out that we'd spent $22 million on our roster, and how that added more pressure and to Pope, I guess, essentially, right? Okay. So elaborate on why you think that adds more pressure, and then I'm going to kind of go into why I called Dylan about it.
Well, the reason I say it is because I think anytime you follow in, look, we talk about Caleb DeBoer replacing Saban, right? And all the success that Saban had, right? And all of a sudden, DeBoer's finally starting to look, but he was on the hot seat immediately because people expect success. Well, when you have someone like Cal, yes, the last few years, but really you think about you come in and your first 3 years are Elite Eight, Final Four, you win the national championship. And keep in mind that was before the transfer portal and NIL, right? So, I mean, you did all that before all this money's being thrown around, before you could just go and get any player off of it. And so, obviously, I think Pope's the guy for the job. The stuff is, but we talked about it last year. There were several times that even though we won some big games, we talked about how we looked at that team last year and was like, man, like, I don't think we're better than them. Like, I think there's multiple teams out there that I do not think we're better than them, which was not the case a lot of times during Cal's era. So now you see, I think they said the last year of Cal's era, they gave $4 million in NIL money, right? And they didn't want to build a new facility and they didn't want to do all these things. Well, now they've handed the reins over the Pope. They're like, we're all in on you. You got to go turn this around. $22 million. So, like, what happens if we don't get past the Sweet 16? What happens if we don't get past a round of 32? All of a sudden that talk becomes a lot heavier on Pope. And no, he doesn't deserve to be fired. I hope he's here for the next 15 years. But you can't tell me that doesn't add a little pressure to it.
Well, here's my thing. I guess it does add. You can say it adds a little bit of pressure, but we're the University of Kentucky basketball, right? We should be spending the most on NIL and getting these best players. And I guess it comes back to, and I guess the thing that it comes back to is, Cal wasn't getting that at Kentucky, and because he burned some bridges, right? And I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know the full story behind all that. But I don't know the exact number that Arkansas is getting now, but I guarantee they're probably getting close to the same, right? So I guess my whole point that I was talking to Dylan about was that pressure's equal now, right? Like Cal has that same pressure, Kentucky has that same pressure. He had that same pressure when he was here too, because he was getting the best players every year. He was getting a number one recruiting class. We should have been winning every year based off that, right?
Yeah, no, and I agree. I'm not saying he doesn't have pressure. I'm just saying, like, I think the 22 million roster adds to the pressure of Pope. Like, the more that he already had, like, I think that it definitely adds. You don't think it adds at all?
I
Like,
don't
the
know that it
$22 million?
adds.
Like,
I don't know that it adds because we're the standard. Why would that add pressure?
I mean, because that's the problem. Like, if people came in here and had success with less,
yeah, but
like,
he knows that's what needs to get done. Every fan knows it. He knows it. I don't think there's any added pressure. I think it's just like, all right, we brought you here to win, and we're supposed to be the standard. So
I just think that it's added pressure in the sense of, like, you when you move on from a type of coach like Cal, like when you kind of was like the majority of it was done. They can say, yes, Cal essentially, he officially left, but I mean, everyone knows it. I mean, it was essentially ran out. Like that was the general census. When that happens, like you have to, like, there is no like, oh, well, we're going to hope the next guy is, better. Like there is no hope. Like you have to be better. There's nothing. Like you have to be better if you're going to do that. And I think Pope can be. Like that's not, I'm all in on Pope. I just think that you have, like when you go in that one, you have to come in and fill those type of shoes. And now you've got the most money to spend to create the best roster in basketball at number one like the best college tradition. And if you can't get it past it, I mean, I don't know, like that's to me, it just adds more. I just think if you come in with a $4 million roster and make the Sweet 16 compared to a $22 million and make the Sweet 16, it's a little different.
I mean, it's something to consider and think about.
Yeah.
So,
well, I want to bring up something real quick, or go ahead.
All right. So, with the added pressure, what would you say with that is the floor for this year? What's the floor?
I think you have to get. I mean, I think at the worst has to be Sweet 16. Like, I think that's the worst. I think it needs to be an Elite Eight. Like, I think if you had to put it in percentage, like I think Sweet 16's the floor. Like, that's like you can't do worse than that. Not with this money, right? Like, I think you have to. And now knowing like I said, knowing what you followed when it went Elite Eight, Final Four, National Championship. You take Tubby comes in with a national championship. right? Like this isn't, you can't go backwards. You have to go up here at least for early. And that just, it just adds, Pope understands it. Pope wants it. He wants all the smoke. I'm all
100%.
for it.
Yeah.
He wants it. I'm all for it. He wants it. He knows the standard. He's not hiding from it. I'm all for it. I love it. His attitude towards it. I'm just saying, in the back of his mind, you can't tell me, like, overall, not that he don't understand. It adds a little bit. It just does. I mean, you get $22 million in your pocket. You're expected. You're expected
I
anyhow,
think
but you're really expected
Right.
with $22 million.
Yeah. And I think the best thing about Pope, like you kind of just mentioned it, he wants it just as much as any of us. He's blue through and
100%.
through, and that's what makes it so awesome.
Well, for these next 5 minutes, I'm gonna bring up something. Obviously we wouldn't be doing this year, but to look forward to, and it's something very interesting because again, you talk about the NIL, how it has shaped and changed college basketball. Well, the NCAA now has allowed something else. To me, is crazy. It's.
Yeah.
I think that in this is way too far. But for the ones who do not know, the NCAA is now permitting former G League players to return to college basketball. The first to do it was recently Theo Darlin at Santa Clara and London Johnson at Louisville, being the most recent examples. These are players who played in the G League and have returned to college basketball. I bring this up because, moving forward, this is maybe something that college basketball starts to look to. I do not agree with it. I think it's absolutely insane. But, you sit here and you talk about, like, is this something Kentucky might look to do in the future? For example, I'm just going to name some players that we could go after. Now, I don't think all of these players are people that we can get. I know a lot are, but these are some players that we could actually bring back to play. Just think about this. Give this a thought. Kobe Brea, Jacob Toppin, Oscar Shigwe, Amari Williams. Again, I don't know if all these are available based on like their age. There are some limitations, but I'm just throwing these names out who are on these players are in the G League. Keon Brooks, Lamont Butler, Andrew Carr, Ashton Hagans, Scal Labissiere. Now, I don't think he's available. I'm just Antonio Reeves, Jackson Robinson. Some of the Ty Washington. Some of these guys are available. I think this is insane. I think that it's utterly ridiculous how these guys can go play professional basketball and come back to college. I totally disagree that and I guess the biggest thing is I think it hurts college basketball. And Tom Izzo was very, very passionate about it. I don't know if you got to see his little segment of it, but he was speaking on it. And it's just it's crazy and sad how we're changing so much of the foundation of college basketball. Like, look at the state that we're already in. Guys who are playing for 4 different teams in 4 different years, and now we're even we're allowing guys to go to the G League and then come back and play. I mean, it makes no sense. What are Mason? I saw you, both of y'all like, what are we doing?
Go ahead, Kobe.
Go ahead, Mason.
So
yeah, no, I don't. Go ahead, Dane. Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
There's another delay going on here. So I disagree with it too, Dylan. I feel like this is it's just shifting again, and this is just going to limit even more. The emphasis on these high school recruits, right? I mean, you've got these guys who obviously they've proven they can perform in college. They've obviously been drafted
They've
or
had their
signed,
opportunity.
to a summer league, right? They've already had their opportunity, and I guess I don't know how this came about, but the only thing that's kind of popped in my head that I guess gives them a real argument to keep this going is, you have these guys overseas now, right? They play professional basketball over there.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I mean, that's the only reason that this is probably going to, stay and stand unless people just have an outrage over it. But, you brought up Tom Izzo and kind of, his thoughts on it. I'm telling you right now, if this sticks, people better buy into it because it's going to be another, Dabo Swinney situation if they don't. They're going to get left behind.
Yep.
And, did y'all hear Pope's responses to it?
I did not.
So he just basically said, like he doesn't have a strong feeling towards it, but the game's constantly growing and evolving, and you just kind of take it how it comes. And if this is the ruling and everything's going to stay the way it is, then they'll lean into that and adapt to it. The game keeps changing and evolving with all this NIL stuff, so you just got to keep changing with the game
Well,
if
and
you want to keep
that's
up
what
with
they
it.
have to do. That they have to do that. As a coach, you've got to evolve. And you bring up Dabo, like who didn't. Like if you don't, you're going to be left behind. Like it's almost in a sense like you don't have no choice. You have to, because it's either do it or you're going to be behind. Colton, 1 minute thoughts on that, and let's get into our college football recap. You'll lead us into that.
I mean, I don't really understand it though. How are they able to do that? I thought you lose. Like, am I just missing something? Like, I thought once you officially, like, because it was always right. Those guys who drafted, like, they had till a certain point to decide to enter a draft, and when they did, they were ineligible. So, like, did something happen? Like, did these guys not play in college at all before? The ones that like the Johnson guy, play in college at all before, or did he come straight out of high school to the G League? Like, what? Like, how? Because I just don't understand it. Like, I'd have to look into it a little more, because I mean, if there's an actual rule that's like, as soon as like that certain time period comes, if you've not removed your name from the draft, you can't return to college. Like, that's the rule. So, like, when did that change? So I don't. I'd have to look into it more, the why that is actually even the case, like how it's actually even possible.
That's a good point.
Take us into college football.
Yeah, so I mean, another exciting weekend in college football. I was also at the UK Tennessee game. We'll get that out of the way real quick. One positive from the game, Cutter Boley continues to impress me. He is definitely growing. He's getting more confidence. He's making some better throws. He's using his legs. He's showing more patience. Like, and he's making better decisions. I'm very excited about that, just because we actually have a freshman, technically redshirt freshman, that you can actually grow with, right? Instead of these fifth year transfers that are coming in and you get 1 year and they're not that good, then you're going to have to go look the next year. I think we have something Boley. Let's build off of him. Other than that, we continue to not be able to play Tennessee. Defensively, we cannot guard their spread offense. We just cannot do it year in, year out, and something has to struggle. Brad White's very good against physical teams. We stop the run. We cannot stop that type of offense. So that's out of the way. Other than that, next big game, Texas A&M blows out LSU at Death Valley, gets Brian Kelly fired.
I called that.
Yeah.
Oh, did you pick Texas A&M?
Yeah, I picked Texas A&M.
Yeah. Brian Kelly fired. After that, Texas A&M. I think people just keep waiting on Texas A&M to, like, oh, are they the Texas A&M of the old, where like they're pretty good, but then when they play Bama or they play this and that, and they kind of lose. Well, then you go into LSU, even though like LSU is still a good team, and you have that type of win. I think people are starting to really, Texas A&M was legit.
It's even more impressive because it was at Death Valley, not game.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
It's not like it's like a midday game where
knowing the urgency
exactly
that LSU had, right? I mean, knowing that, so you knew that they were going to come out and give it everything they had, and you still put on that type of performance, which is very impressive. Other than that, you had Ole Miss also beating Oklahoma on the road, which is a very impressive win. Ole Miss, another team that we're just kind of like, Lane Kiffin's a good coach year in, year out. They always just have those one or two, like losing to Kentucky last year, right? They seem to always have one or two of those losses that kind of keeps them out of the college football playoff. We just kind of keep waiting for the fall. They've had one loss, and that's Georgia, right?
Yeah, they played them.
Should have won
They had
that
their
game
first loss to Georgia, right? And we're leading by double digits, in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So, Ole Miss with an impressive win. So that's another impressive win. Another game, Vandy holds on, beat Missouri. Vandy, first time ranked inside the top 10, hosting another ranked opponent in Missouri. A very physical game, not a lot of offense, a really good defense. Diego Pavia just finds a way to get it done. He's a dog. He's a dog. Missouri's quarterback gets hurt towards the end of the game. That kind of hurt Missouri. So that kind of hurt that. But Vandy continues to roll. I mean, they when you look at their schedule, they play like Texas, Kentucky. They've got a few games here that they could very well make a case for the SEC championship game. Other than that, Alabama goes on the road to South Carolina. Always a setup type game. right? A very close game. Alabama causes the fumble at the very end of the game. When it's tied 21-21, they cause a fumble, go down, score a touchdown with like 30 seconds left, get out of South Carolina with a win, which is, I think, is very impressive because that's where I think you can find good teams that go into those type of environments and find a way to still win those games. Like it doesn't always; those games are always never going to be pretty. You're not going to do that, but they go in and win that game. But other than that, the only other game I want to talk about, Texas was down 38-21 in the fourth quarter. Arch Manning leads a comeback, 38-38. A punt return helped that comeback. They go into overtime, win at 45-38. Arch had a really good game. I think 350 yards. I think 3 touchdowns, maybe 4 touchdowns. He's growing. He doesn't need to go to the draft this year, but I do think this season is going to help him become a better quarterback going forward. So there's your college football recap. Another good weekend of games.
Yeah, I think so. I just a couple thoughts on those slate of games. I think for me, listen, it's awesome that Vanderbilt is where they're at right now. Just amazing. However, though, I'm basing this off a neutral site. I think we need to pump the brakes still though on Vanderbilt. I think that they're still in my head the 5th best. I don't think they're the real deal. I think that you're looking at Bama, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss, who I would put above them on a neutral site. Listen, I think Diego Pavia is a great quarterback. He's one of those quarterbacks, like you said. He is a dog, but he finds a way. I think that's what separates him from a lot of guys. I don't think he is the most talented, but he finds a way to crunch it out and win games. But when you're talking about on a neutral site, mano y mano, I think we need to pump and the media hasn't made it out to be great. However, though, I think people are a little bit too high on them, especially just the hype around Vanderbilt right now, because I think it's just all new for them. They've never been in this situation. And then the last thing, just not specifically talking about those games in general, but I think we're starting right now in the season. We're looking at and we're seeing why the SEC is the top tier, and why you look at and you just. And I know that we come from the South, like that's our conference with Kentucky, and we're in that SEC play. But you don't look at these Big Ten games, and look at Indiana. I mean, that was like 54-7 or something against a UCLA. You don't see a Michigan playing week in, week out. You don't see Ohio State playing week in, week out. These big games, everybody's like, oh man, this is a big game. So again, I think this just builds and it proves of why the SEC is top tier, bar to none. It's the best conference. You're talking about week in, week out. These games are full of just beating up on each other, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, no, I agree, Dylan, with everything you said about Vandy. I think they're the 5th best team in the SEC right now. But the game that stood out to me most, and Colton kind of mentioned it a little bit, was the Alabama South Carolina game. South Carolina's a tough place to play. Not an easy place to play down there. They went in, didn't play their best game, the full game. South Carolina just kind of, overlaid the game up. Made it a grinded out type of game, and that's what good teams do. Like Colton said, they come in there, they find a way to win, no matter what's going on in the game, and that's exactly what Alabama did at the end of the game. I saw a video of the stadium there at South Carolina, and all the students, they were already running down towards the field to get ready to rush the field. They thought, that they were going to go down there and win that game, and then a fumble was forced, and Alabama ends up winning the game. So that's what good teams do, and I've been saying it all season. I'm going to say it again. Alabama's the best team in the SEC, and they're going to win the SEC championship.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
And for the viewers out there, we apologize. Excuse me, voice cracked there a little bit. But we apologize. There might be a little delay. I don't know why. Yeah, at least I'm gonna have to listen to it, go back, and make sure that it's not a delay. Like
Can you
whenever
see
they're
Mason's
listening to it.
screen?
Yeah,
Can you see
Mason's
Mason?
y'all. Yeah, y'all look fine to me. It's just a little bit of a delay.
I haven't been able to see. I haven't been able to see Mason for the last like 20 minutes. Like it's just a black screen.
Oh no, he's on for me. But let's take a break from sports. Let's get into the next segment. Our segment here, and the reason why I bring up the delay is because there's going to have Colton and Mason are going to have to work together on this. So hopefully it's not a delay for you all whenever you're listening to this. But we're going to get into a blind ranking of appetizers. You two got to work together on this. I'm going to give you 5 appetizers. And you've got to place them in order without knowing what comes next. So here we go. And you can take these as is. This can be any restaurant. So here we go. Your first appetizer is going to be mozzarella sticks. Where are you boys putting mozzarella sticks for our blind ranking?
What are you feeling?
What do you think, Mason? I mean, I love me some mozzarella sticks, but I mean, how many? I'll say this. Besides, like the whole like Chili's cheese pool that you see on all the TikTok videos, like what mozzarella sticks do you sit there and just like think, man, I've got to go to that restaurant because of those mozzarella sticks?
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like they're so hit or miss, right? Like you get good ones some places, and some of them are like they threw them in the microwave for 30 seconds. Yeah.
I'll say this: there's not a whole lot of places that I don't feel like I get any that's like any better than like the Sonic cheese like mozzarella sticks,
right?
You know,
yeah,
like if you're a fan of the Sonic mozzarella sticks. So I think there several times it's like that. I'm thinking like you want those like 4 in case he gives us like something trash.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Just save that bottom spot for something
we're
worse.
going 4. Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going mozzarella sticks at 4. All right. Your next one is fried pickles.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Man. I love pickles. I love some fried pickles. I love pickles.
I do too.
Got some ranch dressing too.
Man. We had some. I tell you what, if you've never had them at Drake's, we had some at Drake's for the first time a while back, and my goodness, they might have been the best fried pickles I've ever had.
Cole's been there looking at his fingers, man. They got good. Whew.
They were. I don't know what they were. What do you want?
I'm gonna say I'm comfortable putting that at 2, but that's just me because that's probably one of my top picks.
I'm good too. I like it. Let's go.
All right.
I like it. Let's go number 2.
Okay. The next one you got buffalo chicken dip.
I'm comfortable.
We ate at a place
in
Lexington. Or you want 5?
I feel like there's still going to be something worse. I just feel like no. I just feel like buffalo chicken dip's so specific, right? Like you got to be in the mood for it, right? Like I love buffalo chicken dip. Don't get me wrong. Like
right. I'm the same way.
I just feel like he's gonna.
Exactly. I'm the same way. What?
I feel like
he's
probably
still got like.
I don't know what. I feel like he's gonna give us like a chips and salsa.
I'm hoping he's.
Maybe not since he did the buffalo dip.
Some type of chips, a nachos or a salsa.
Yeah, right.
Or something.
Right. And then maybe like a cheese fries or something like that.
So you got mozzarella sticks at 4,
or you could do like a,
and then you got fried pickles at 6.
5 or it's either 5 or 3, Mason.
Let's go 5 just because it's so specific.
Let's take let's do it. I agree.
I can't tell you the last time I've ordered that as an appetizer at a restaurant.
We actually ordered it as appetizer in Lexington. We ate it at this place called Goodwood.
Okay, so you all have mozzarella sticks at 4, fried pickles at 2, and buffalo chicken dip at 5. So that means you have your 1 and 3 spot available. Your next one is going to be loaded nachos.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's got to be 1,
top
right?
tier there, Mason. What are we thinking? It's got to be 1. Let's go 1 because I'm gonna be happy with it. I'm gonna be real mad.
Yeah.
Like he may give us something trash, but he's not gonna be able to name something that I'm just like that's way better than nachos. You know, like I love loaded nachos.
Me too.
So like I can live with it 1 because I don't think he can name anything, but he can definitely name things worse. So like we're gonna leave it.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave 3 open.
We're
gonna go 1.
All right, so your next one, just a prestigious, well-known appetizer, deviled eggs.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. He
Oh,
went to
man,
the
yep.
thing. I mean, they're going 3, but I mean, like, listen, if you don't think I would eat deviled eggs, you're wrong. Listen, I eat deviled eggs. I mean,
So
I'm eating
the
them.
final
I ain't
list,
gonna lie to-
you've got loaded nachos at 1, fried pickles at 2, deviled egg at 3, mozzarella sticks at 4, buffalo chicken dip at 5. Let us know, how did they do? How do you all feel like you all done on this? Do y'all think it's pretty
We
good?
just
I
got
mean,
split
based on,
3 and
you don't
5
know
in the
what's
second
coming
it
next.
was, it was, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, we would switch the deviled eggs to 5, but I think the rest of the list would be fine.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Before we move on, like, what do you like, Colton? I think what's your go-to appetizer? Like, let's just get that out of the way. I want us all to give our go-to
Oh yeah,
appetizer.
I'm probably
No, give me one. Give me
if
one. Give me
they
one.
offer it, um, spinach dip. Like I'm like the spinach argument. Yeah,
Yeah, I think spinach dip can be a little tricky sometimes because sometimes I've been in, it's like, okay, this is not really good spinach dip, but like you give
it
me
was
the
gonna
right
be
one,
that. It
it's
was gonna
really
be
good.
yeah. It was gonna be that or blooming onion. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah.
For me, my listen, I just think it's so hard to go wrong with loaded nachos. For me, like that, that's just like
Yeah.
it's. You can throw
Yeah.
shredded. You can go shredded chicken on it. You can throw shredded pork on it. You can throw beans, chili dip, like on top. Like it's just hard to go wrong with that. Mason, what's your go to?
Mine's nachos. I mean, I like that so much. Sometimes I'll just even order it as a meal so I can have the whole thing to myself. So definitely nachos. If Brittany's
Yeah.
not feeling it, I'll just order it as my meal. But yeah, nachos for me.
All right. Well, there's our blind ranking of appetizers, or at least not ours, Colton and Mason's. All right. Mason is going to lead us into our fourth segment of the night. This was proposed by Bulldog Colton Mike, but get us into it, Mason.
Yep. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to do a redraft of the 2024 QB class. All right. So we got Caleb Williams, who went first overall, Jaden Daniels, who went second overall, Drake May went third, Michael Penix Jr. 8th, JJ McCarthy 10th, and Bo Nix 12th. All right. So we're going to go through kind of based on, what they've done in their short time here in the NFL and redraft the quarterback class for 2024. So Colton, your idea, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, so I've seen this a lot on TV this week or the last couple of weeks. Just because, listen, first off, props to these guys because what a great quarterback class. Like I really think they're all starters. They've all had some success. They've all shown a lot of promise. Regardless, some more than others, but they've all shown a lot of promise. So if I think the big name right now is Drake May, right? And I'm trying to go through this and say, don't be recency bias. Like just think, it's only been 8 games. You have Jaden Daniels who went to an NFC championship last year. Like, don't be recency. And I'm just going based off these. Look, I think part of the team you get on and the coach you get is a big part of this.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a huge part of that. So don't think of it like that. Just think about what you've seen them do so far, like the talent that they have, stuff like that. So look, I'm going to go with Drake May at number 1, and not just because of the recency bias, but because he reminds me a lot of Patrick Mahomes. And not the reason I say that is because Patrick Mahomes is not a true running quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is a pocket passer, but he uses his legs as one of his biggest weapons because it seems like every time there's a 3rd and 8, you think you've got to get him, he finds a way to get that first down with his legs, right? And I feel like May's that type of runner where he's a great passer, 6'5", big arm, has a lot of touch, but he also can use the legs in that way. And I just think that he's going to be very successful for the rest of the time in his league. My number 2, I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels has the right mindset. I think he's a winner. I just think that his durability is something that you have to question because he is a running type quarterback. He's not necessarily the strongest quarterback or biggest quarterback, and so durability is a question. But I think he was raised in the right mindset to where his focus is completely on winning, kind of like a Jalen Hurts in a way of where it's the personality is just literally just focused on winning. So then I'm going to actually still stick with I know this is controversial, but a lot of people put Bo Nix here. I'm still going to go with Caleb Williams. And the reason I say that is because I was kind of out on Caleb Williams, but this year he's not taking as many sacks because he's learned to use his legs. He's got crazy arm talent. And I do think that eventually, like with Ben Johnson's offense, like the only thing he's lacking right now is playing on time. So I'm going to go with Caleb Williams because I think Bo Nix is a product right now of kind of a Sean Payton head coach and a really good defense. I would put Bo Nix next. I think he is a good quarterback. I think he has potential, and he could be very, very good. He has his games, but he also has games. I think the defense wins for him and some other things like that. But then my next one, I'm going to go with J.J. McCarthy. I think people are kind of knocking on him. Look, this guy's only played 2 games. All right, I think it's hard to really be proven, but I do think that he's got a chance. He's shown some decency at times. Let's get him some reps in and to see what he can do under Kevin O'Connell. Finally, I'm with Michael Penix Jr. At times, he's shown it. I like Penix. I just don't like his throwing motion. He kind of reminds me of a Colin Kaepernick. He kind of throws it like a baseball, and to me, that kind of throws off timing and throws off rhythm a little bit. I don't know that he's just a true passer of the football. And he's not just a true runner of the football either. So I think that's just it's gonna struggle at times whenever he's got to really be that passer because he's not a runner. Also, that's my list.
All right, Dylan, throw it over to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through every single person and elaborate, just for the sake of time. The only thing I am going to do is my list is exactly same, except for 2 players. I'm going Drake May 1, but then this is where I'm gonna put Caleb Williams at 2. And the reason why I say that is because, like Colton said, a lot of this has to do with the team that you get drafted by, the players surrounding you, and I think that, guys, Caleb Williams, his line was awful. I mean, they were so bad. I forgot the stats on it, but we talked about it maybe earlier or at the end of last year of the season. But like the guy didn't have any opportunities at all to get the ball out. He was having to make quick decisions, and the Bears, were the Bears. Like they just hadn't had really weapons around him, and obviously, I mean, not that even so the weapons, it's just giving your guy time to make plays. So now, like Colton said, he's got Ben Johnson in there to help him mix it up a little bit, get a little bit more creative. Listen, I think Caleb Williams is going to be an elite quarterback in this league for a while, and he like Colton said, he's got the arm talent. Decision making there still maybe a little questionable. And the biggest thing for me putting him above Jane Daniels is because Jane Daniels, he's reminding me a little bit of the CJ Stroud. Comes in, makes that conference championship, and then all of a sudden that second year kind of it's that sophomore slump. You hear people talk a little bit about
film on you.
Yeah, and they understand you a little bit better. But listen, I think Caleb Williams is the real deal. And then he reminds me a lot of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, like you said, he has that capability of using his legs. He chooses not to use his legs though often because he is so talented in the pocket. Whereas I think times Jaden Daniels, he relies on his legs a little bit too much sometimes, and I think that could get him into trouble. But yeah, I think Drake May for sure is the standout here. I think people, and again, you get a coach in there who understands and the need of like, okay, what do I need to do for my guy to be successful? And ultimately, that's what the Patriots franchise is known for. And they're back to top tier status. I'm going to make a lot of noise, but I got Caleb Williams at 2, and 3, Jane Daniels, 4, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy 5th, and then Michael Penix Jr. coming in last.
All right. So my list is a little bit different than y'all's. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. I do have Jaden Daniels at number 1. I think based on, and I'm going to say this, he had a great year last year, obviously. The year before they were 4-13, and then he comes in last year, like you said, Colton, takes them deep in the playoffs, led them to a 12-5 record. He came in and balled out last year. And I think he can sustain that, but the Commanders have been banged up all year. You know how it is in the NFL when you're down starters. I mean, they've had 8 to 10 starters, I think, that have missed significant time already this season. So they've just been banged up. I
This
think if
is
they can
true.
get back healthy, that he can get back to true form. And I just think what he showed last year, the way he came in, you don't see that a whole lot with, quarterbacks straight out of college. And that was just really impressive to me. So I think, get a little confidence back, get back healthy for their team. And I think he can be the top quarterback out of this class. Second, I'm going to go Drake May. I agree. I think Drake May, he's probably done, and he hasn't done, anything significant, but he's probably done the most with least out of any of these guys, right? Sitting here thinking about it, coming into
Oh
the
yeah, for
Patriots,
sure.
doesn't have a whole lot of weapons. And like you said, Colton, I think he's a great pocket passer and he's smart, knows the game, knows when to use his legs. Um, Third, I'm going to go with, this was really tough for me. I want to go with Bo Nix, but because of Caleb Williams' decision making, but I think Caleb Williams has more talent, so I'm gonna put Caleb Williams next, just because I think he has more arm talent. He has a little bit more speed, able to use his legs a little bit more. If he can just fine tune a couple things, I think right now it's really close for me between him and Bo Nix. Like you said, Colton, I think Bo Nix is probably a little bit of a product from the system he's in, but I'm gonna go Caleb Williams, then Bo Nix, then I'm gonna go JJ and Michael Penix last.
Yeah, obviously, like Cohen said, very talented draft class. A lot of people may be thinking, that's what this year's college football class should be. But we've had a lot of
Should have been.
craziness, or should have
Yeah.
been. Just a lot of craziness occur with this year's quarterbacks. We're doing well on time, boys. So we got about 5-10 minutes left. What we're going to do here is we're just going to talk a little bit. We're going to reminisce a little bit on our college days. So we're just going to kind of discuss, a memory or two here and there that we've had, and then just kind of just talk, and then we'll call it a night or call it an episode. So I'll lead off things here. So you know, thinking about, just our times in room 302, obviously for the ones who don't know what room 302 is, we said this earlier, whenever we first started this podcast. Room 302 is the dorm name, that was or not our dorm, excuse me. Our apartment was, 302. So that's kind of where that originated from. But I think and sorry if I take one of y'all just have to think one, off the bat, but I think the biggest thing that I would, when I think of just, man, those were the days, was just like whenever we get a good snow in, and during that time, it still is very, very popular. But Fortnite, man, that was, I remember hopping on, we'd get some squad going, and stay up to like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, we wouldn't go till like 3 or 4, but we would, I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning, doing something like that. But that was those were just really good times. Not a worry in the world. Especially if basketball was canceled for me, Mason. Well, at least my junior year, Mason quit on us our senior year. That's another story for another time. But but
Let's just throw it in there.
yeah,
Yeah, shots.
but
Golly.
yeah, yeah. But man, that was just those were the days. I mean, not that was so much fun. And we continuously was just wanting to go more and more. And we was like, man, we got to go to bed. But no, we got to get another squad win. And then the last one for me, I really just enjoy going to our little tradition we had going there on Thursday nights, going to Buffalo Wild Wings. Though that was something that I miss being able to do with y'all. And obviously, I still see Colton and Chance a lot. Mason, we make an effort, which we make actually a really good effort. There's not many people, I feel like, who still are in contact with their college roommates and best friends constantly, talking every day on a group chat, doing things like this. But being able just to go to Buffalo Wild Wings on Thursday nights to watch Thursday night football, enjoy a good meal and good company. I mean, I really, really miss being able to do that. Love my family. Don't get me wrong. Love having my wife and my kids, but I also really enjoyed those moments with you all. And when we when we get together, it's awesome still. But those are two of the things I really love doing.
Go ahead, Mace.
Yeah, no, the Fortnite, man, I remember those nights. We used to all be same apartment, about 15 foot apart from each other. squatted up. Colton be hiding in the bush.
Yeah, Colton be
Chance be
hiding. He
carrying
in the
around
bush. Yeah,
the
bush
the
man.
medics.
My man pop out of nowhere.
It's survive in advance, man.
No, good times.
There's
So my
zombie
memory.
apocalypse. There's zombie apocalypse. I'm heading to the bush.
Colton, he's in the bushes. No, the memory that pops up to me though, and I feel like we've talked a little bit about about this on here before, is silent library. So I won't go into a whole lot of detail
Oh
about
gosh.
everything we did, but I think I think what we did, if I remember correctly, is we kind of all wrote down, like, hey, let's do silent library, and we all have to agree to do these. No matter what you draw, you got to do them. Don't make them nothing crazy. But we all kind of wrote down, some punishment, so you would say, to have to do, and then we all kind of gathered around and did the drawing, and I'll just say this: we definitely would have failed if we did the silent library. If y'all want to share, what was your most memorable one that you had to do during silent library? The one that you like still think about and remember?
Well, then we talk about this on the podcast earlier, like one of our first podcasts about getting decked by pennies or coins or something. I remember, look, my mom listened to one of our first podcasts. She was like, "You got hit by like change?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." That was
It was
education
awesome.
you were paying for. I'm sorry.
It was awesome.
No, that's a great memory. Do you have anything else, Mason, or you?
Yeah, one other one that it just popped up on my phone not too long ago. There's a video, and I think it was just us three. No, Chance was there too. It was Chance too, and
Yeah,
we were
I'm
all
breaking
standing in
that
the
out
kitchen.
still.
Yeah, hopefully the
Can you
viewers
hear
can
me?
hear him because I can't hear a word he's saying. But
Yeah, same.
Mason, we're going to pause you because me and Colton don't know if this is going through. Your connection still is
Great
awful.
memory, Mason. Great memory.
Yeah, good memory. Colton, take us, lead us to the end here. What's a memory that you just, you're like, man, those were the days.
Man, to me, it was. I remember us one time getting in the vehicle on a snow day. Like there was no way, but we made a Taco Bell run, and I mean, literally the streets were ice. But we were like, we can't be in here anymore. And I remember taking the truck and we were driving. I mean, there was no one on the road while we were out on the road, but just like sitting in a room on a. Hey, now you talk about Fortnite, the 2K. Like we played 2K a lot, and I
All
would be Anthony
Kentucky.
Davis. I feel like all
Man, those
Kentucky.
are the days
I'd be
too.
Anthony Davis. Going for the blocks, trying to triple double for the blocks. But
That's so
also, do y'all
wild to think
remember
about,
going to
though,
like
how much of a
the?
gamers we were in college.
Oh, I know it.
Like,
I'm
just
not
for a
really.
little
Yeah,
bit.
I know it. But also, you remember like going to the basketball park at nighttime, just a random and going to play. And
Yeah,
I believe y'all beat us. I think it was 3-on-2, or
this is
I
true.
think. But we were at just a random city park at nighttime playing basketball. Just, I mean, couldn't even see. But I mean, we may have got beat 3-on-2. It is what it is. But it wasn't about the score. It was about the memories. It was
That's
about
right.
the memories. Like, as far as I know, I think I dunked. I don't know. We'll never know. There's no replay. There's no. That's my memory of it. But I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
no,
random. It was, to me, the biggest thing was always just doing something random like that. Like I said, take the random trip to Taco Bell in the middle of an ice storm, or the random trip to the park in the middle of the night to go play basketball because we're just sitting in the middle of the room talking trash. Like, oh, y'all couldn't beat us. Let's go right now and you just go, right. There was no thought. You just go, and that was the best part. Is just sitting there all together, and then it didn't really matter what you were going to do. No plan. You just kind of went.
yeah, even if we had a test in the morning, that's what we would do. We put our priorities at where they needed to be. No,
Yeah,
obviously,
we
all
did.
great
We did
memories,
graduate.
except for me. I did not get to graduate and walk the line with you all. Not because I was
Sorry,
failing. Let's make that clear. Let's make that clear. I had to do my student teaching first semester. So I had to finish that up before I could actually walk the line. You know what, real quick, that's something I never got to do. I never got to walk across the stage for college because they invited me back to do it in that December, and I'm like, I'm not going. Why would I go? Nobody's going to be there. None of now, I highly doubt you all would have came to Brescia to watch me walk across the stage to receive my diploma, but it is what it is. Mason is out for the night. Man, we apologize. Mason's got to figure this connection out. We thought we had it solved.
I hope
hopefully
it catches that last little bit because I hope it catches the last little bit because I didn't even hear yours for the last minute. Like I didn't hear nothing from yours in the last minute. So I'm hoping this is catching.
Oh, really?
I think
Yeah,
Mason's just
I
ruined
think
everything.
Yeah. Well, guys, we appreciate you all listening to us. Hey, catch the golf YouTube video if you have not already. Bluegrass State of Mind on YouTube. It's a good one. Breaking 30, me and Colton. Don't want to spoil it for you all. But hey, as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.